intended to reward creators. We wanted not only to amend, but to reward the creators with what rightfully belonged to them, curing the infringement due to the technological advancements, attracting investors to this creative industry, identifying sources of revenue for the creators, and setting up an independent copyright management body. Furthermore, providing solutions and implementations of a structured copyright regime. In the harmonization process, Honorable Chair, we were part of the consultations, and the program was organized by the government. Whereas the current bill before you is talking about principles, some of them we agreed with them, but many of them we didn't concur with them, and that is the reason why we are before you. Honorable Rachel Magola was one of the seconders, but as well she holds and runs our forum for creatives. Mr. Mbabazi Norman is an advocate for copyright, and he has worked so tirelessly to see that this bill is amended. That's why I invited him over to have to take us through. Honorable Chair, with what we didn't agree with, permit me to briefly highlight on them and present them before this committee. Honorable Chair, in my bill, I had proposed for an independent copyright body, management body. The 2006 Act has been existing, but failure to implement the copyright law has been because of the weak system that has not been in place. So we thought we had to empower a body that could come up with the copyright management system and put up a structure that could cure and solve all the copyright related challenges that we face now. Honorable Chair, Section 40 of the current law, the Minister may, on the recommendation of the Board of Directors of the Uganda Registration Services Bureau, appoint a registrar of copyright. On B, under the same section, the Board of Directors of the Uganda Registration Services Bureau may appoint such a number of assistant registrars, copyright inspectors, and other officers as may be necessary for the efficient discharge of the duties and functions of the registrar under this Act. The assistant registrars, copyright inspectors, and other officers shall report and be subject to the direction of the registrar. Already that states that there is mandate given in that law that calls for a body, an independent body, to manage the copyright. Still under Section 41(2), it states that the registrar's office shall be the National Copyright Information Center, meaning the National Copyright Information Center has been already gazetted as a body under that Act. So the bill as proposed by government is not speaking to this, and we find it challenging, and we're going to go back to what we want to cure. So I do propose to this committee that we retain and back up with justification the need to have an independent body managing copyright, so that we realize fruits out of whatever we are doing right now. Honorable Chair, the nature of business of this entity holding the current role of Registrar of Copyright, URSB, is majorly to carry on registrations in the relevant laws as enshrined in the Principal Act, the Uganda Registration Services Bureau, Cap 210. Honorable Chair, the international treaties, national laws, and requirements of copyright do not necessarily require registration, but rather management and development of rights that accrue from the works that hold or create copyright. This is further evidenced by the number of copyright registrations by the URSB in comparison to its registrations with the relevant laws. That I have had the privilege of looking at the Uganda Registration Services Bureau, Cap 2010, and specifically looking at Section 4 of the Act. It states that URSB will administer and give effect to the relevant laws, to provide registration services and collect and account for all revenue provided for under those laws. The first schedule of the same Act states the relevant laws, and below, if you have my my writings, they stipulate and outline the laws that URSB is answerable for. Thus, our law, the copyright law, is not therein, Honorable Chair. That I have not seen the Copyright Act, Cap 2015, at the same time, which was eventually repealed by the current Copyright and Neighboring Rights Act of 2006, as one of the relevant laws that are administered by URSB per their Act. So, the Copyright and Neighboring Rights, Honorable Chair and members, is not part of the laws that have to be governed by URSB. Honorable Chair and colleagues, that in various countries that were benchmarked during the discussions and deliberations of the copyright laws by the stakeholders, including Ghana, Malawi, Zambia, Kenya, Nigeria, indicated that a separate copyright authority is a best practice, and as such, that was the intention at the time. This has further been reaffirmed by the international best practices, which have always advocated for an independent copyright authority or body. Honorable Chair, whichever country that we talk about where copyright is working effectively, there is a body, an independent body running this these services. But here, being under URSB, even if you went there today, it is just a desk of not even qualified people to run this. Yet we want a qualified team that is going to manage and run copyright related works. So, Honorable Chair, when it comes to the body, I retain, together with colleagues, that we need an independent body to govern and run the copyright and neighboring rights if we are to achieve what we are running right now. Another issue, Honorable Chair, was on the callback tunes. I had proposed for a revenue share because due to the technological advancements, the telecom companies, the aggregators, were rewarding artists basing on negotiations. So when we benchmarked with other countries, we thought there was need to share revenue and give percentage to who gets what. So I'm glad that we comfortably agree with the revenue share as proposed by government. However, when you look at, sorry, looking for me. However, Honorable Chair, much as we are comfortable with the revenue share, it is not specific on who gets the 60%, because it is speaking to the author or performer. We would propose to adopt a Kenyan style and Nigerian format of a split sheet, where the law is clear on who gets what, than the ambiguous sharing as proposed by government in theirs. So with the collar back and ring back tunes, we concur that the revenue share is okay, but we need to be specific on who gets what, especially when it comes to the 60% as allocated. To some of the countries where we benchmarked, we saw that, for example, they are clear that the content owner or the artist gets this percentage, rather than hiding under the author, hiding under the producer. So it is not clear, which we need to cure immediately. Honorable Chair, the third one, our interest was on the collective management system. In reference to the amendment, Section 20, amending the Principal Act, Section 56. Collective management organizations play a vital role in the copyright management by acting as intermediaries between the copyright holders and users of copyrighted works. They simplify the process of licensing and royalty collection, ensuring creators are fairly compensated while making it easier for users to access and utilize creative content. In simple terms, Honorable Chair, the CMOs are the brokers in the supply chain of copyrighted works. All creators create their works to be used, seen, and utilized by the with pay. Therefore, the structuring, the management, and the empowerment of CMOs must be held as a first priority in the legal formation of Uganda, where a majority of the rights holders are still unaware of what belongs to them. Honorable Chair and colleagues, in Kenya, for example, the rights have been separated as follows. We have Music Copyright Society of Kenya. This focuses on collecting and distributing royalties to only musical works. We have the Kenya Association of Music Producers. This represents music producers and manages their rights. We have the Performers' Rights Society of Kenya, CRISKI. This manages the rights of performers, artists, musicians, etc. Then we have the Reproduction Rights Society of Kenya. This deals entirely with the production rights for various copyright works.